Alright, what's really good? What's really good? We back at it again. This video is gonna be a reiteration off of that market analysis and structure video. Cause I talked briefly about it, but not fully about it, and that is market structure shifts. You might be wondering, what's a market structure shift? Well, I'm about to tell you. Things that we're gonna go over in this video are going to be what are market structure shifts, how to identify actual market structure shifts, like legit ones, not, oh, it looks like it, and how to use those in a way to trade against what the overall bias originally was. As we can see, we were buying bullish momentum from all the way up here to all the way up there, which we can also check that out on 15, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily, all on buy. All right. So from there, you'd be like, okay, well, we should only be looking for buy positions because clearly we are in a buy side market. But right here formed a market structure shift. A market structure shift is a shift in the market overall. So we can come over here. As you can see, we were selling like crazy. We were in a bearish market, clearly. Selling a ton, lower lows and lower highs and etc. Just everything that forms a bearish order flow. This is last lower low here and its last lower high here. All right. And then from there, it started consolidating and broke that lower high. And amongst all that, also formed a higher low. That lets you know that the market has shifted overall. Is once that last lower high and the last lower low, so the last lower high was here, last lower low was here. Once those are broken from whichever order flow it's in, whichever movement it's in, whatever the trend is, that lets you know that a market structure shift is going to be formed. And from there, this is about the area that it broke. We're going to change the color. Make it a little flicker. All right. And there is your market structure shift, or MS or MSS. Market shift, market structure shift, same thing. And then from there, that is what I call phase one. Because there are two phases that go into market structure shifts, which this talk will go into how to identify legit market structure shifts. So this will go into that a little bit, which is phase one and phase two. So phase one of a market structure shift is a break in the last, in this case, lower high and lower low, letting me know that it's going to shift from a bearish and a sell side market to a bullish and a buy side market. It's going to shift from a market that I should only be looking for sell positions to a market that I should only be looking for buy positions. It is going to change and disrespect the original overall trend and the overall bias. That's phase one. Phase two is the retest. Now, sometimes it'll retest it on the dot like here. Other times it'll come back down and give you a full retest. Most part, you want to wait for that full retest. You want to see where that last lower high was. And you want to see where it shifts from lower highs and lower lows to a higher high and a higher low. At least mainly the higher high. And from there, you just want to place what is called a flip zone. 9 semi-long, smallish, medium wick rejections coming off of this zone the moment it started forming that higher low, a higher low compared to this low, and then amongst that formed a higher high, which formed that market structure shift. And within that zone, that in general area where it formed that, starting from the bottom of the wicks of that low to the top of that point, which is here, boom, price came right down to this zone and rejected 9 times. 9. That lets you know that this area is strong. That lets you know that price is most likely not going to break past it. From there, you could have entered into a buy position. I would honestly say probably around here. The moment it starts giving you that buy side pressure, because that's when it started pushing upwards with that big bullish candle right there. Enter it there and put at the next key level all the way up here. Maybe even, yeah, maybe even up there. Yeah. And guess what? You could have taken that trade all the way. Boom. Perfect. Tapped it. Slight tap, immediate rejection. And reversal. Supposedly. We're going to that in a second. And just like that, you could take a gigantic trade like that and get tons of returns. And all you had to do was wait for phase 1, which is the form of the higher low compared to this low. And amongst that, wait for it to form a higher high compared to this high, forming a market structure shift. And then from there, you want to wait for the full retest. You want to mark up a little zone around the area where it formed that higher low, which in this case, because it's a sell side section, I'll give an example on the buy side. For the sell side, here it formed a higher low than this lower low. And from there, start out this little zone, wait for price to come give you a full retest, and then from there, it'll give you a valiant. It'll let you know if there's going to be a valiant reversal or not. So you waiting for price to come down here instead of entering straight off that rejection on the top here. Didn't even give you a full retest and come back down to a certain area. None of that would have got stopped out and would have missed out on this gigantic opportunity. And from there, like we said with last time, because in last time it needed to make a higher low than the previous low and then eventually make a higher high, breaking that last lower high to let you know that's going to switch from a sell side to a buy side market. You need to do the vice versa, which is higher high, higher low. I need to wait for it to make a lower low and then break that last higher low, making a lower low and a lower high, which will let me know, okay, phase 1 has just started, which is the form of the lower lows and lower highs and the break of the last higher low, forming a market structure shift. All right. From there, we wait for phase 2. So I'll place my zone like that, where it starts consolidating and forming that last, that higher low. I'm sorry, lower high. And then wait for price to come up and give a full retest. So not just retesting this little area right here, but a full retest. Now, you might be wondering, oh, well, John, the last one you showed us, it stopped right at it. Why did this time it broke past it? Well, there is such thing as liquidity. In this situation, there's a lot of liquidity, which is essentially people's stop losses and people's buy stop orders that'll eventually get stopped out. So basically just money. There's a ton of money looking to be taken by the market, the big banks and institutions in these areas. And none of that was swept, which is what's called a liquidity sweep, which is why it broke past this zone and then stopped immediately at it. But as you can see here, there was a rejection and clearly sluggishness when it came to touching the zone. But it swept that liquidity, taking all that money just so then it could feel an even bigger sell side move coming from that market structure shift. You feel me? And then from there, it's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's all money down there. You could have entered off of that trade. Once it starts giving you some sell side pressure, we'll say about here, put that stop loss above there, and put TP at the next key level. Shoot, we could say all the way down here if we wanted. Big old trade. And yeah, just like that. Those were 2 market structure shifts, shift examples that'll, like I mentioned, that essentially show you what are legit market structure shifts, what to look for. Again, like I say, my saying, wait for phase 1 and phase 2, which as long as you were paying attention, you'll understand that. Just so you can get a good confirmation that this is a legit market structure shift and is going to be a valiant reversal, not just a slight retracement, a actual reversal. And then clearly examples of gigantic take profits and risk ratios, 1 to 16, 1 to 14. That's obscene. And all just from being patient and understanding what a market structure shift is, understanding what you need to wait for to get a legit confirmation that there's an actual market structure shift happening and there's about to be a valiant reversal, which again would be phase 1, which is when in this case it forms that lower high and that lower low breaking that higher low and disrespecting this higher high, forming a market structure shift. That's phase 1. And then phase 2 is waiting for the full retest. In this case, there was no liquidity swept. I'll have a video on liquidity, but there was no liquidity swept. There was no money taken from retail traders. Therefore, it had to push up and take all that money because there weren't enough sellers to fuel this big move. Down here, there was liquidity taken. There was money being taken at all of these lows. So here, 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 and in these areas here, which is why it was able to stop exactly at this zone, reject a ton, and push upwards. Compared to here, there was no money taken, therefore had to break past, take all that money to fuel that move. That's the only difference between those 2 examples. Regardless, it works. It's a great strategy with the market structure shift. It's a great confirmation to use, especially if you're not trying to, because that's the issue that I used to have, which is I used to want to trade, once it gets to this zone, I'm going to sell. Once it gets to this zone, I'm going to buy. But you can't do that. You can get lucky and it'll work sometimes, but for the most part, you're going to lose money. So the safest way, if you don't want to wait for a price to come all the way down there just so you can buy again, just look out and wait for the market structure shift. Just analyze if there was a phase 1, if phase 1 and phase 2 have taken part or are about to take part. And then you can take a position from up here instead of waiting for price to drop all the way down here. You feel me? That's just a video on market structure shift. And yeah, I hope it was useful. Hope you learned something. Hope you utilize this into your trading journey. But yeah, you can like, subscribe, go to the gram, whatever you want to do. I'm just trying to help some people out. I'll see y'all.